Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity that has given to me. And first of all, I would like to introduce our group. My name is Muhammad Ilham as the moderator and second presenter, and my partner is Nirmawati as the first presenter. And the title of our material is Wording the Speech. And that was our brief introduction, and we move to the next session. The first presenter will explain about our material. For the first presenter, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks to moderator. Before that, my name is Nirmawati. Okay, now I explain about the power of words. The power of words is used by advertisers and retailers. As the research items show, advertising agencies have learned that sales of a product can be increased if ads contain any of the words new, quick, easy, profit, now suddenly amazing and introducing. Until a few decades ago, the toothpaste was considered a trash fish unfit for family meals, but when Leland's, an American fish chain, renamed it Chilean sea bass, despite it actually being a type of cod that is rarely found off the coast of Chile. It became hugely popular and one of the most expensive items in restaurants. Can mere words have such power? Yes, but we should not call words mere. As writer C.G. Duquesne say, to speak of mere words is much like speaking in mere dynamite. The comparison is apt. If dynamite is used responsibly, it can clear a rock slide on a highway. If used irresponsibly, it can maim and kill. In public speaking, if powerful dynamite words are used responsibly, they can keep listeners awake and interested. But if used irresponsibly, they can deceive audience, distort fact, and dynamite the truth. Ethical speakers use words responsibly, not as clever device of deception, but as vivid portraits of truth. And the next, finding the right words. In choosing a word for your speeches, your goal should not be to select the most beautiful or the most sophisticated, but to use the right word for the right audience. As you analyze your audience before a speech, ask yourself, how can I best express my ideas so that the audience will understand and accept them? A word that may be ideal for one audience may be unsuitable for another. While considering your audience, you also should use words that are suitable for the occasion. If you speak at a fundraiser, your words should be uplifting and encouraging. At a funeral, solemn and respectful. At a political rally, rousing and emotion. Using appropriate words. Never make political, religious, racial, ethnic, or gender reference that might alienate anyone in your audience. Use gender-neutral terms. Gender-biased stereotype, generalization that assign role or characteristic to people on the basis of gender. Avoid gender-biased pronoun usage. For centuries, the masculine pronouns he, his, and him were used in English language to designate an individual when gender was immaterial. In a sentence such as, every driver should buckle his seatbelt before he starts the engine, The pronoun his and he were understood to refer to drivers in general, but male and female. Today, however, such phrasing is undesirable because it excludes women. And then, to avoid offending anyone in your audience, you can handle this pronoun issue in one of three ways. And then first, use masculine and feminine pronouns in tandem. In other words, use he or she when referring to an indefinite person. And second, use plural pronoun. Say simply, all drivers should buckle their seat belt before they start the engine. This alternative has the advantage of being simple while offending no one. And last, use the pronoun you. For example, whenever you get behind the wheel, you should buckle your seat belt before starting your engine. For speeches, this is almost always the best of the alternative. It's simple and direct. Maybe that's all I can say. Next, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Nirmawati, and I'm going to continue to explain our material. Using words accurately. To use words accurately, you need to be sensitive to two types of meanings, denotation and correct grammars. Connotation use precise denotation. The denotation of a word is the thing or idea to which it refers, in other words, its dictionary definition. For example, the denotation of chair is a piece of furniture on which one person may sit. Control connotation. The connotation of a word is the emotional meaning that is associated with it. The words slender, thin, and skinny are synonyms. They have the same denotation, but the connotation are different. Slender has a positive connotation, thin is neutral, and skinny has a negative overtones. Achieving clarity. To be clear in the words you use, you must first be clear in your thinking. To achieve clarity, we can use words simple, concrete, and precise. Use simple words. The use of simple words aims to convey the right meaning. Good communicators prepare simple words whenever possible. Use concrete words. Concrete words name or describe things that the listeners can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. For example, balloon, flower, gunshot, pizza, and desk. And use precise words. By using precise wording, you can most accurately relay your thoughts. Some strategies that can help you put your thoughts into words include focusing on denotation and connotation, balancing specific and concrete words with occasionally figurative language, and being on guard against cliches and misused words. Using vivid language. Vivid language helps your listener create strong, distinct, clear, and memorable mental image. Good vivid language using helps an audience member truly understand and imagine what the speaker is saying. 3 common ways to make your speaking more vivid are through the use of imagery, metaphors, and similes. Imagery. Imagery is the use of language to represent objects, action, or ideas. The goal of imagery is to help an audience member create a mental picture of what a speaker is saying. A speaker who uses imagery successfully will tap into one or more of the audience's 5 basic senses: hearing, taste, touch, smell, and sight. Metaphors. A metaphor is a figure of speech in which a word or a phrase that ordinarily describes one thing is used to describe another to suggest a resemblance. For example, enemy submarines were sharks that followed the ship for prey. Comparing submarines and sharks creates a metaphor that is vivid and powerful. Similes. An expression comparing one thing with another, always including the word as or like. And using rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices are artful arrangement of words to make one's remarks more interesting and memorable. 4 of the most popular devices are alliteration, antithesis, parallel structure, and repetition. Alliteration. Alliteration is the use of successive words that begin with the same consonant sound. We must love alliteration because our culture is built with example in popular expression, baby boomers, advertising slogan, so soft and silky. Product names Coca-Cola, and TV shows Mad Men, computer games Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the Lounge Lizard, and sport event Final Four, and names Wizard Band. And then antithesis. An antithesis is a rhetorical device in which sharply contrasting ideas are juxtaposed in a balanced structure, as in he has cold hands but a warm heart. The balance and the contrast emphasis in the ideas and make the sentence memorable. Parallel structure. Parallel structure is the repetition of a grammatical structure. Words, phrases, or clauses are arranged in parallel form, as in this example. We want a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And the last is repetition. Repetition is a linguistic device is designed to help audience become familiar with the short piece of the speech as they hear it over and over again. By repeating a phrase during a speech, you create a specific rhythm. Probably the most famous and memorable use of repetition within a speech in Martin Luther King Jr. use of I Have a Dream in his speech at the Lincoln Memorial on August 1963 during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In that speech, Martin Luther King Jr. repeated the phrase, I have a dream 8 times to great effect. Thank you, and that was our explanation about the material. If you have some question, feel free to ask. I think that's all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.